I'm playing 10 shooter games for 10 hours each, trying to understand the shooter game genre and see if I like it. This, Halo Infinite, is the first shooter game for this series and pretty much the first shooter game I've ever played. For each game, I'll show you what the game was like, if I enjoyed it, if I improved along the way, and finally, if it changed my view of shooter games, gaming as a whole, or YouTube content creation. Also, at the end of each game, I'll include a beginning-end gameplay comparison. I must also mention that originally this was going to be part of one big huge video. I'm playing 10 different shooter games, 10 hours each, but editing is taking so long, and it looks like it's going to be over an hour long, so I decided to post each one as a separate video. I'm still posting the big polished movie at the end. I'm just posting these here, so I don't go crazy working on a project for over a year without feedback. Yes, I've been working on this for over a year. Don't judge me. I'm a busy boy. Also, I'll include a preconception segment in the movie, but not for each game because that would get repetitive. So basically, to sum it up, I was excited to try shooter games, but also I hadn't played any quote-unquote violent games before, so I was a little intimidated. Also, I was worried that I'd get addicted, I guess, and lose interest in less fast-paced games. Alright, with that, let's get into it. Halo Infinite. I chose this game because, well, I saw it came with Game Pass, and somewhere I remembered Halo was like an OG shooter game or something, and then I saw that it was like the newest, and my brain was like, newest was better, so yeah. Very scientific reasoning, I know. Also, I thought the sci-fi vibe would be a good way to ease into gun games, because I was used to sci-fi vibes, and so would be a little less intimidated than more accurate and gory representations of shooter games in real life. Anyway, if you haven't played Halo Infinite, it's considered pretty solid on the multiplayer standpoint, although when it came out, it was pretty unpolished, so it had a bad reputation. Since then, they've fixed a lot of things though, and it's considered probably the best Halo game on a multiplayer side, though it's less known for its campaign. Anyway, starting out, I decided I was solely going to play multiplayer, because I wanted to immediately try out the multiplayer experience that I'd envied in my friends' games. Also, I have to mention that for this game, I wrote down the least amount of stuff about my experience because I hadn't really established how I was going to keep track of my thoughts, which ended up just being writing an ungodly amount after each session. But for this game, I wrote the very basics, which was mildly frustrating for scriptwriter me. Past me, you say that you thought quote-unquote the intro was nice and the training center was nice. Could you elaborate on that, please? No. Okay. How about when you said quote-unquote the whole Spartan thing is cringy? Could you elaborate on that? No. Great. Also, past stuff, why the webcam? The lighting is terrible. You look green. Anyway, so yeah, I think I did do the intro tutorial thing because I wrote that, but it's not on my recording, so I don't know. Right after that, though, I went straight into the main multiplayer game, and I was absolutely doggy doo-doo at it. And apparently struggled with spatial awareness as well.
We've lost possession. Enemy has the ball. Lead.
Starting out, I had like a 1 to 5 kill to death ratio, and while that might seem discouraging, I didn't really find it frustrating because it was my first time playing really anything with a keyboard, and I expected this. I built my new PC about 2 weeks before starting this, by the way. Anyway, with these first few sessions, I felt kind of helpless when it came to one-on-one conversations, and I just kind of felt inferior to everyone. It wasn't really that fun at this point, also because I kind of felt like I was letting my team down, and it left a bit of a bad taste in my mouth after playing. But then, at about 3 or 4 in-game hours, I either found or went back to this training thing that had me playing against bots, I think they were bots, but at the time I was uncertain because they seemed better than I thought bots could be. But bots or not, this helped me a ton, and it was actually enjoyable. In particular, I had a 1-hour session where I played this the entire time, and I could finally get kills and my skills were improving. A lot of the muscle memory that people would have from playing really any 3D game on a keyboard I did not have, so this was a good way to practice them without pressure. In particular, I was so slow at switching weapons and finding the button for melee. Then, at about 9 in-game hours, me and my good friend Adarube, I just call him Adarube because that's his username, because I'm used to it, I don't know, had a sleepover, and for about 4 hours we switched off playing this game.
Wait, do I talk into this mic right here?
Yeah, I just talk normally though, because if you talk like right into it, then it sounds weird.
Oh, so
just talk normally.
Oh yeah. I'm good. Oh no, I'm not.
Yes, by the way, we still have sleepovers at 17 years old, because we're just that cool. Anyway, both of us were still pretty bad at the game. It was basically Adarube's first time playing shooter games too.
Oh, come on.
But it was so much more fun. I almost got a kill. I almost did. I got kind of close. But also, I was being shot at by like 4 people, so like, I don't know what's going on. Whoa.
Yay.
Yay. Wait, can you get stuff from this? You can. Oh, no, no. I wish my webcam was on for that. We also started playing Super Fiesta for the first time, which is where your guns switch randomly after every death. It became my favorite game mode. Not only were the teams and maps smaller than the main game modes, so it felt like a lot less intimidating and more manageable, but also it let me experiment with guns. Okay. Ooh, is it this one? Wait, what is it? Whoa. Although we both still seem to have an innate ability to fall into the void.
Let's talk about that.
We were both seeing improvement by the end of the sleepover. After the sleepover, I played probably another 7 hours total despite being past the 10-hour mark already. Partially because I was trying to decide what game to do next, and partially because I was just enjoying Halo. For most of the time, I was playing Fiesta, and I definitely felt like I was improving, with usually about a 2 to 3 KD ratio now. By this point, school had started though, so I couldn't play more than usually about 30 minutes a day to no time at all, if I had a lot of homework. And I found myself looking forward to playing though. But then at 16 hours, I had the first session where I truly got frustrated. I think part of it was that I just had a frustrating day in general, but also it felt like I was doing worse than the last sessions. It felt unsatisfying, and it made me think that if I were to start playing shooter games in longer sessions, I'd probably get frustrated eventually in each session. Anyway, after this session, I decided what my next game would be, and I decided the next session would be my last session in Halo. Because I had been avoiding the main game mode since the first few sessions at the start, I decided to try them again at the end to see if anything had changed. And I think it certainly did. I still had a pretty bad kill to death ratio most of the time, usually like 1 to 3 or 1 to 2. I definitely was doing better than before, and it didn't feel like I was helpless or dragging the team down anymore. Yo, I got a kill. Yo, okay, that was kind of satisfying. Let's go. I mean, to be fair, I still didn't understand what I was supposed to be doing half the time. So do I just stand here? But at least it was fun now. I also tried the Infection game mode, which apparently Halo games are known for. And I found it kind of fun at first, but it got old fast, especially because campers often ruin the experience. Oh! I then played a few random game modes I hadn't really played at all before, like King of the Hill, and then I logged off. Although I didn't feel like I had found the excitement I used to have feel for my OG games like Minecraft, I really liked Halo. I definitely viewed the game fondly and still do a year later, not a year older. It felt like my special game because I didn't know any other people in real life who played it, so it was just my thing. Also, I think the graphics made me feel a bit more fondly about it because I just like sci-fi stuff in general. It just had good vibes. But on the other side, it did leave me to wonder, how would I like shooter games in realistic settings with more realistic depictions of violence? How much do graphics affect my perception of game? But other than graphics, I think it also helped me with basic keyboard muscle memory and provided a foundation that made it easier to get into other ones. Also, it made me realize that shooter games aren't some scary addicting thing that could change your personality and make you a more violent person. Despite the memes, it is just a game after all. All that being said, I still view shooter games as kind of mindless and unproductive if it wasn't for a video, so I never really played Halo after this, except once or twice at other sleepovers. I realized that at least as long as I was serious about YouTube, I wouldn't play games much if they weren't videos And so the idea that I would get addicted started to fade. And I guess I realized how much YouTube controlled what I played. While I was playing Halo Infinite, I also was working on a Terraria video at the time, which I was slowly losing more and more motivation for while working on this video. While that may sound like, oh, it's reinforcing the idea that I'll lose interest in less fast-paced games, I realized that I was losing motivation for Terraria because of YouTube. I felt like the Terraria video wouldn't get much views since I was kind of copying what other people and myself had already done, whereas this series felt like an original concept that had the potential to get hundreds of thousands of views. Wish me luck. So I had much more motivation for shooter games because YouTube was backing it. But I digress, because finally at the end of each game, like I said, I'm going to show a little comparison between how I played at the start, side by side with how I was playing at the end of the 10 hours, to see if I improved. So here it is. Alright, that's all for Halo. I would really appreciate feedback in the comments, by the way. I don't consider this a final version of this video, so if there's anything you think I could improve for the movie, I'd love to hear it. Anyway, stay tuned for the next shooter game, the final movie, and then horror games after that. And I'll see you later. Also, at the end of each game, I'll include a beginning end. Jesus and Jesus. That's not even the right sentence, bro. Also, at the end of each game, I'll include a beginning and gameplay comparison. But then I laughed there, so what the hell. Although I didn't feel like I had found the excitement I had once... I'm sorry, what? I was doing the subtitles for this and, well... Nice.